Welcome to Shom Machshava on the Daf Shir sponsor Lui Nishbas Rabbi Yaakov Shalom Le'Abbas Yitzchok. We're holding Basra Daf Kuvov. The Gemara with base introduces the concept of division of inheritance, and the Gemara says that you could do it, or you should do it with a goral, with a lot, with a raffle, and you learn it from Eretz Yisrael. Meaning, when Am Yisrael divided Eretz Yisrael, they also did a goral. So the Gemara, you can't compare it to Eretz Yisrael. There was a kalpi nor metumim. So the Gemara, yeah, but here they agree to follow the Goral. So this Gemara gives us the concept that sometimes you make decisions, you help yourself make decisions through a Goral. And there's a big discussion in the Poskim based on what the steer that we find in Sefer Chassidim. In Sefer Chassidim, there's two things that he says that seem to be a contradiction. In Siman Tafresh Ayin Tes, he says, if people are in a ship and they suddenly have a Seir'im, there is a storm, and they look around and they see that other ships are fine. They're the only ship which is about to drown. So then they should do a goral, should do a lot, and the one that the goral falls on him, they're going to throw him to the water, similar to what we found that happened by Yoina. He adds that they will daven, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will guide them in the right way, and if they can put him into some kind of a small boat or some floating item, they'll try to do that as well, and he should not jump on his own. They should put him into that little boat. But the goral works. That's at Siman Tafresh Ayin Tes. And Siman Tafshin Aleph says Sefer Chassidim that if people are in a boat and they realize that there's a ruach sarah, there's a storm, and they're about to drown, they're not allowed to do a goral. That if the goral will fall on one of them, they can throw him to the water. So even though we found by Yoina that by Yoina was different, that was a Luch Ruach HaKodesh. But in general, even a smach b'loikani linyan momin, kol sheken linyan nefoshesh leisbechu al pi goral. So asks the Sefer Chassidim, what about our Gemara? That we do split the land with a goral. Says there, we talk about they're both chalokim shavim. Each one is getting exactly the same amount. Question is, who should get the right one, who should get the left one? Then a goral works. So when it's equal, the goral works. But to make a decision based on a goral, they don't do. And he concludes and says that's why in Yom Kippurim, there are two Seir'im, and the shtei Seir'im were exactly shavim b'mari b'kreim b'dam. They're exactly the same, and therefore the goral works. So the Mefarshim are busy with this. What's chat? Chor steer in Sefer Chassidim. The Medrash Tel Piyos in the Erech Goral brings this, and he says that the pshat is simple. In the first point in Tafresh Ayin Tes, or his first siman, he's saying that all the other boats are not drowning. That's the only boat which is drowning. So there's a raya that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to use the goral. But the second is siman Tafshin Aleph. There's a storm all over, so to just decide based on a goral, I don't do. Meaning, sometimes I will use a goral, but I can't rely on it 100%. Similarly, the Mefarshim bring, the Ramah says in Yerideo Siman Kuf and Zayin, that if Goyim came to Yisrael and said, give us one of you, so we could kill him, or we're going to kill all of you. Says the Ramah, you're not allowed to give one Jew to the Goyim unless they specifically ask for that specific one, and even then, not sure you could give him. So the Sefer Tiferes LaMoshe says that you could use a goral. If you want to use a goral, you can use a goral. So in the Sefer Chavli Yosef Ochadrei Deo, Yosef Hutner, he brings this, he says it doesn't make sense. Only Baruch HaKodesh can come and rely on it. And he brings a raya from our Gemara. Because our Gemara says, let's use a goral, like they did in Eretz Yisrael. He says, you can't use a goral. You can't use a goral in our case. The only reason we use a goral is because they both agreed to use a goral. But in general, to come and make din nefashos based on a goral, of course you won't do it. And he brings other rayas to this. So it comes out, the goral does help to make decisions. But the shaila is if we could rely on it. If that's something we can use, or you have to have a special Ruach HaKodesh to come and use it. As we know, when we come to Yom Kippurim, Yom Kippur we have two Seir'im, as the Sefer Chassidim mentioned, and we use a goral. The Sefer Chassidim Mashra, because they're both equal, so it's fine to use a goral. But in the Sefer Chassidim is brought down, and so brings the Baal Tanya and his Siddur in the end of Shar Purim, the Beis Sosra quotes him, in Ma'amor Chodesh Tishrei Oisvov, and the Pri Tzadik and Shushan Purim base also brings it. And they all say the same idea, that the idea of a goral is that you want to go and give the decision to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do I make a determination without having human beings deal, without having the Seichel HaEnoshi, a person's hand in it. Rav Tzadok says, even a Nevuah can't do it, because the Nevuah also goes to the Seichel of a Navi. The one thing that goes up to the Ratzon HaElyon of a Kadosh Baruch Hu is a Goral. And the simple understanding is, what is a Goral? A Goral, I'm allowing Hashem to make that decision. The way the Bnei Yisrael quotes the Baal Tanya is to say that we're going to a place which is above Bechira. Bechira is a human being. But the Goral is going to Kadosh Baruch Hu with no Bechira. And Rav Tzadok explains that that's the oimik of Shtei Seir'im. The one Seir is Hashem, that's connected to Am Yisrael, and one Seir is La'azaz, that's connected to Esav. And what Kadosh Baruch Hu is doing Yom Kippur, he's saying, I'm showing that all the various of Klal Yisrael don't really belong to them. They belong to Esav, they belong to the Yetzer Hara, they belong to Koy Chesarah. You could throw it away. But Am Yisrael, they are connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Their Pnimiyusom belongs to Hashem. The one who can make that determination is only HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who is able to royal a levov and say this point. To say, I know that Yaakov is connected to me. That only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do. And therefore we do a goyel that brings it to the decision of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this may be the discussion here among the poskim. Goral is unbelievable, it's so high, it's so gavoya to connect to Ratzon HaElyon. Not everybody can come and use that. Not everybody who does a goral is able to connect to such a high place. And Yom Kippurim, that's when there's access to get to the Ratzon HaElyon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to come and mevarer that all the chatoim of Klal Yisrael don't belong to them. That is the godless, that's the greatness of the day that Yom Kippurim, that you can connect to that Ratzon. Anyone who wants to join the Shomach Shava email list to WhatsApp, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.